It's early evening. The house is buzzing. The TV blares. Toys sing. Max is rhythmically tapping the table. Zara is dancing with her toy keyboard. Mom is at the stove, stirring, sighing. Dad steps in, looking worn. Everyone's talking. No one's listening. Suddenly, Mom's voice cuts through, quiet but firm.
Guys, can we just have a few minutes of silence?
Everyone pauses. Dad turns off the TV. Zara turns down her toy music. Max stops tapping the table. And it gets quiet. Finally.
Thank you, everyone. You know, silence really is powerful. Sometimes, when everything's loud, we miss the important stuff. Even God doesn't shout. He chooses to sometimes whisper or speak to us when it's silent and when we're quiet. A good example was how a great prophet in the Bible heard God.
God whispers?
Yeah, one of the bravest prophets in the Bible heard God that way. Not in a storm, not in fire, not in an earthquake, but in a quiet whisper.
Wait, who was that?
Elijah. He was brave, but even he got overwhelmed. And when he was ready to hear from God, God didn't come in fire or storms. He came in a gentle whisper.
Sometimes it's in the quiet that we hear him best.
Can you tell us the story?
Yes, let me tell you what happened to Elijah.
Elijah ran through the trees, across the rocks, into the silence of the wilderness. He had seen fire fall from heaven. He had faced hundreds of false prophets. He had prayed, and the sky had opened. But now, he was afraid. Queen Jezebel had promised to kill him, and suddenly Elijah, God's bold prophet, felt very, very small. He collapsed under a tree, alone.
God, I've had enough. Just take me,
he said. But instead of anger, God sent sleep. And when Elijah woke, an angel was there, with bread baked over hot coals and water in a jar. Eat, the angel said. You have a long journey ahead. So Elijah ate and walked for 40 days and nights. He climbed up Mount Horeb and hid in a cave. And there, God said, Elijah, what are you doing here? Elijah poured out his heart. I've done everything you asked, but now they want to kill me. I'm the only one left. Then God said, Come outside, I'm going to pass by. Elijah stood at the edge of the cave, and suddenly, a wind tore through the mountains, shattering rocks, but God wasn't in the wind. Then, an earthquake shook the ground beneath him, but God wasn't in the quake. Fire blazed across the ridge, but God wasn't in the fire either. Then, a whisper, a gentle breath, and Elijah knew. He covered his face with his cloak because God was in the silence. And in that quiet, God gave him new instructions, new purpose, and a promise. You are not alone. Even God's strongest followers can feel afraid, tired, or alone. But God doesn't always shout. Sometimes he whispers. And when we slow down and listen, we'll hear him. The story ends. The scroll has dimmed. The lights are low. Zara leans on Mum's shoulder. Max lies on a cushion, gazing upward.
Elijah was really scared, but he still listened. And God wasn't angry and didn't yell. He just whispered.
Exactly. God showed Elijah that strength isn't always loud And sometimes we hear him best when we're quiet,
But even kids can hear him?
especially kids. Now, let's thank God for the lessons we learned today. God, thank you for speaking, even in the quiet. Help us make space to hear you. Help us remember we're not alone, even when we feel tired or afraid. Teach us to listen for your whisper when the world around us gets too loud. Amen.
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 All right, it's time for bed. Remember the importance of silence and how God dwells in it. Let's carry this silence with us as we say our goodnight.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Dad.